Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. Now today I kind of want to do an update on the Travis Scott situation. Considering I covered it in the past, I feel like it's only right for me to then go and do an update on this and see what Travis Scott has been doing to help the situation and help the people involved in this situation. And it's obviously one of the biggest tragedies which have happened in a very long time. But I'm going to try and come at this extremely respectfully. If you want to come and get more updates on this in the past, you can do so up here. We're streaming live right now on twitch.tv/inabber. But yeah, without further ado, this is probably one of, it is the worst. I know other people have lost their lives, but this is just something which ultimately makes it a million times worse. Astroworld boy 9 dies days after crush at the Travis Scott festival. A 9-year-old boy has been placed in an induced coma after a crowd surge at the Astroworld festival in Houston, Texas has died, a family lawyer has said. Now, I'm just going to give a little 20-second summary here. I didn't know what happened. Travis Scott hosted his Astroworld festival, and it involved a massive crowd, riot or a crowd surge. People broke through. There wasn't enough security at the event. Travis Scott seemingly continued playing music, or at least singing. He stopped the crowd and stopped performing for a little bit, but then continued to sing things through his microphone whilst people were being resuscitated on the floor. It was one of the most messed up things I've seen in a really long time, and naturally a lot of people are upset about this. A lot of people have lost their lives, so I'm trying to be as respectful as possible here. Ezra Blount has been on life support in hospital due to severe brain and organ trauma since the show on November the 5th. He is the youngest of 10 concert goers to have been killed after panic broke out during Travis Scott's headline performance. Now, a lot of people have been saying how this isn't Travis Scott's fault. He has no responsibility here. I disagree with this. Ultimately, I feel like it's more than just Travis Scott's fault. I do think that you have to look at the security and say, what were they doing in this situation? Why was there not enough security on the doors? There were videos of people breaking down barriers and there seemingly being no security around. But then you also have to point that straight back at Travis Scott and say, why was Travis Scott not employing more people at these events? It's a difficult thing, It's like, ultimately you want to be respectful and you don't want to start causing drama because people have lost their lives. And I understand that some people will say, hey man, you're capitalizing on this, because naturally in some form I am, but it's mainly because I speak about the worst possible situations on these channels. I feel like it's something I've been known for a while, and I can't turn my head away from these things. I have to speak about these things, Now, I am going to speak about some of the things that Travis Scott has apparently been doing to kind of rectify this situation. It's a bit of a weird one. So I don't know if you guys know what BetterHelp is. BetterHelp is basically this online therapy thing, and it's really weird. It's really weird because BetterHelp were a group that were exposed heavily, and I mean heavily, back in the day. I'm just gonna find some clips to show you the extent of discourse around BetterHelp. We need to talk about YouTubers promoting this. BetterHelp, PewDiePie 3 years ago. Do YouTubers really understand mental health? The BetterHelp legacy. Tro. These are all people basically coming out and speaking about BetterHelp and exposing the situation involving them. There are a lot of creators like Shane Dawson, like Katie Morden promoting this app, and there was a lot of things out there speaking about how they had horrible experiences with therapists at BetterHelp. Now, I'm not going to show screenshots of that because some of them are real, but some of them aren't, and it's kind of hard to kind of go through all of the shit. But if you do want to watch these videos, you're more than welcome to. But ultimately, this is a brand which has a lot of controversy around. But Travis Scott has come out and has apparently offered, it says free therapy for those impacted by the tragedy at Astroworld. Cactus Jack is covering 1 month of therapy for these impacted. Licensed therapists are ready to help. Now, personally, I actually think that, I said that Travis Scott should pay for the therapy of the people involved. Actually, I said he should pay for the therapy of everyone involved in this situation. Now, some people can argue, well, he's getting them a month of free therapy. And it's like, this is a hot take. If you get online therapy, fair enough, fair enough. If you do that, that's your thing. But my take is physical, in real life therapy is always going to be better than online therapy. Now, you may prefer online stuff, but I think for 90% of people out there, real life therapy is far more beneficial. Actually speaking and connecting to a human being that is sat in front of you, that's is a much preferred option, you know? I think this is a cop-out. I feel like a brand deal has been struck here. Now, I don't think Travis Scott is being paid by BetterHelp here, but ultimately, it's a PR move. BetterHelp get a load of publicity. They get a load of people trying to get help with their brand, and ultimately, that takes a tarnished brand and somewhat makes it seem better in the public eye, you know? These people coming to the aid of these people who have been traumatized by this horrific event. But at the same time, it's a month of therapy? A month. A month. A month. A singular month. This is just such bullshit. You know? Like, I'm sorry, man. And I'm gonna go into brutal specifics here, because I need people to get the fucking context here. Imagine this. You go to an event. You see a 9-year-old boy get crushed to death. And I know that's brutal and disrespectful to say, but we need the specifics here, because that is what happened. And I know it's a cruel thing to even mention, but that is what happened at the responsibility of the security, Travis Scott and his team. And then after that horrific thing happens, you see that. The families have to deal with that. After that, a month's therapy. I'm sorry, but if I'm a part of that family, if I'm seeing that, if I don't know this person, but I'm in the space of that, I'm going to need more than a month's therapy. I'm probably going to need years of therapy. These things, you don't just get these things sorted. And also, I'm willing to bet, I don't know the stats of this is just a guess, but I'm willing to bet that therapy online takes much longer than therapy in real life to actually start feeling better. Speaking to some fucker over, I don't know, Zoom or even messages, that's not going to make me feel better within a month. I'm probably going to feel shitter, to be honest with you. I've seen the service that BetterHelp offer. This isn't a reasonable thing. This isn't a thing which is going to help anybody. This is a PR stunt which has been organized to make the brand of BetterHelp seem better, and also the brand of Travis Scott to be somewhat recovered. Now, it is worth mentioning that Travis Scott is also under investigation from the FBI. Astroworld, FBI joins investigation into tragedy at Travis Scott concert. Federal Bureau of Investigation. That's it. Is it Bureau? Reportedly gives technical assistance amid calls for separate probe. The FBI is reportedly assisting the Houston Police HPD investigating into the Astroworld tragedy that killed 8 people, now 9 people, I believe. The dead were among 300 who were injured. So yeah, he's being investigated, seemingly, or at least his team and the event is being investigated. And it's just crazy. This thing gets seriouser and more serious and that's why I think this is just such a PR stunt, man. And I did say in my previous video that Travis Scott needs to pay for the therapy of these people, but what I didn't say is that Travis Scott needs to get free 1-month trial for BetterHelp. That's not paying for therapy. That's just a company saying, yeah, we'll give you a month. That's like, you know, when you get Raid Shadow Legends advertisement to you, your favorite YouTuber, he's doing his nice little Minecraft Let's Play, and at the start he says, you know what, guys, Raid Shadow Legends, it's cracking. It's a wonderful game. Go play it. You'll get a free 1 month of, I don't know, premium content in the description, you know? And this is, hey guys, you know those people that were crushed to death? Well, you now get a month free trial of BetterHelp therapy. Now after that, you've got to then go and pay for the rest of it. But at least you get a month of it. When you get that little taste of therapy, at least you know what it feels like. But after that, guys, I'm sorry, but I know that I'm a multi-millionaire and I know I make millions of dollars every week, but sadly, I just can't afford it. You know, it's just bullshit. Travis Scott should be at least paying for a year of therapy for everyone at that event. And you know what? Some people will say that's a little bit expensive. That's a little bit expensive. You know what wasn't expensive? Hiring extra security at your event. That wasn't extra expensive. But you risked that. And also in the past, I believe you've prompted crowd riots and you've prompted people to break into your events. I believe, I'm not sure that's a fact. I just remember seeing some deleted tweets. You've encouraged this behavior ultimately, and you've cut the costs, and you are now facing the consequences of it. But also, I think paying a few million for some therapy, I think that is a fine way to get away from going to jail. If I was Travis Scott, I would take paying millions of dollars for people's therapy instead of going to jail, because ultimately he is going to get away with jail. He's not going to go to jail. I don't believe anybody involved in this investigation is going to go to jail, and that's just because the American justice system is absolutely and completely, utterly flawed. I watched a video on TikTok from an EMT who was there, and they said there was severely understaffed and it was hard to... Yeah, exactly. You can see how understaffed it is in the videos. People are just breaking through the barriers, and it's not like there's like police or security that's stopping them. But also, I do also have to say, more of the blame, some of the blame, well, a lot of the blame also goes on to the people that didn't have tickets and went into the event. We need to blame those people as well, because ultimately, you knew what you were doing. You knew that you were breaching a stadium with a capacity, and you still went in there, risking the lives of others. And guys, if you ever can sneak into somewhere, full event, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't. There is a reason that we have capacities on stadiums. And if you breach that, particularly in a large group of people, you're putting the lives of people at risk, and I think you need to face legal repercussions for that, because you are responsible. I mean, these people, the security, Travis, a lot of them are responsible for the deaths of innocent people who paid to go to these events. I know it's right to blame Travis, but at the same time, I think we need to blame the people that were involved in breaking in, and also the security that did nothing about it. And also, but maybe the security don't even hold so much of the blame, just because there wasn't enough of them. It didn't seem like there were many there at all, so it's hard to know who to fully blame, but I believe the security, the people breaking in, and Travis Scott are the main contributors to what happened at this event. There are 100 victims of the Astroworld chaos are represented in lawsuits currently. Apparently, a lot of people are trying to sue Astroworld, the organizers, managers, and performers, I guess including Drake and Travis Scott. And I'm interested to see where this is going to go. I don't think it's going to go to any form of jail time. I would be very, very shocked if that happened. But it is stacking up and getting worse and worse and worse. And even here it mentions in 2015 there was a disorderly conduct charge against Scott. It's not an excuse, but I work in security. There's only so much we can do, especially if we're understaffed. Exactly that. So I can't put 100% of the blame on the security, because I understand it's up to the organizers to pay for security, pay for more security, pay for maximum security, and it did not seem that there were maximum security at this event. So when there is a crowd surge, I can imagine it can be difficult to get from A to B, you know? When there's only 4 people managing a door, that's my guess by the way, it's very hard to deal with those situations, and the way you deal with them is when the organizers pay for more security, and ultimately they didn't do that. They risked lives, and they ultimately sacrificed lives by doing this. Didn't Travis encourage a fan to jump from a 2-story building? I don't know about that. Yeah, these all kind of say the same thing, but ultimately it's such a, especially this man. A 9-year-old boy lost his lives, and people are, I guess, God defending Travis Scott. I also want, I've seen people say, somebody tagged me in something the other day, being like, why, like so many people, content creators in particular, are jumping on Travis Scott, but they don't call out white content creators. I don't think I'm in that category. Now, maybe there are some content creators where the first time they've ever spoken about a terrible thing is Travis Scott, but for me, I speak about everything, in my opinion. And also, I don't believe this necessarily comes down to that. There is an event where people have lost their lives. This is about finding justice and who was responsible here. So yes, I do think there are opportunists, and yes, I do believe that there are people with the wrong intentions in this, but ultimately this is all about getting justice. A 9-year-old boy lost his life, you know. I don't think it's gonna help attacking people speaking about this situation. For the most part, I think 90% of people speaking about this just want the victims, the families of the victims, to have some form of peace brought to them, some form of financial I don't know what the word is, but to get some at least something from this situation to help them deal with it mentally. Because ultimately, when something tragic happens to you, you're not going to want to work. You're not going to want to do things which will help you pay the bills. And I can understand that it will make people slip into terrible situations despite already being in a terrible situation. And I haven't seen enough of Travis Scott and his team helping people with that. Maybe he is in private, and if so, that's great. But I haven't seen enough of that. All I've seen is some shitty BetterHelp brand deal. That's literally it, you know. Somebody said in the chat, there's all love, no hate. I just think this situation is so unbelievably tragic that it needs to be spoken about, and it needs to be updated, you know. I'm only doing an update is because I covered it, and if there is further developments, I will cover it again in the future. And to be honest with you, I don't think this video is going to do well, because as I was speaking about in my previous video, with social media, people weirdly speak about one thing and then move on and speak about the next. I find it extremely disheartening that this topic isn't being spoken about enough. It's very strange to me that we've kind of just moved away from this. I don't see anyone speaking about this anymore. And I'm not saying I'm this god who's speaking about it when nobody else will. But it's strange to me that we've kind of just moved on. I don't know why that is. I don't know what the fuck is going on with social media, but ultimately that is just what happens. But to conclude this clip, I'm just going to say nothing but love and nothing but best wishes to the victims involved in the situation. And I truly hope everybody involved is financially compensated. Obviously, that's not going to bring anybody back. And obviously, that's not going to fix the situation, but at least it can help, you know? At least us speaking about it and constantly supporting the families of the victims in this situation can do some form of good here and perhaps bring some form of justice. These things can go on for years, and if people forget about this, it's just going to move on, and it's going to happen again, perhaps with another artist. And that's why I don't think we should stop speaking about this, and I think we should bring this up as much as we possibly can. But that is the end of this video. I know it was serious, but I feel like I had to be very respectful, and I do apologize for being very descriptive in this in some of my analogies, but ultimately the things that I was descriptive about happened, and if that makes you uncomfortable, good. You should be uncomfortable. People have lost their lives. Innocent people went to a concert to watch an artist they love perform, and they didn't come home. You should feel uncomfortable about that. If you're not uncomfortable about that, then you're not a human being. And yeah, I'm just going to end it there by saying thanks for watching. Please subscribe and please share this. Peace out, people. Bye-bye.